Hi guys, here we are for the step 4, dealing with the Spirit Oracle deck, and we're going to do a 3-card reading. Whether I was doing a 3-card reading for myself or whether I was doing it for someone else, let's talk about doing it for someone else. I'd give them the deck. I know that sometimes people don't hand the deck over and they don't like other people touching their personal deck. No, I do not mind. In actual fact, I want the people to get involved with this. I want them to touch it, get into it, shuffle it and weave their energy into it. So very much for me, and this deck is handed over. I kind of see it a little bit like the deck is self-cleansing. So it's kind of, it cannot hold on to negative elements. It's a positive deck and it's here to create positive flow of energy. So I'd give the deck over and I'd ask them to give the cards a really good shuffle to get their energy into it. They can place maybe their thoughts within some questions or answers to these questions coming into play regarding direction or situations. Sometimes people approach it with just an open mind, but I do like them to shuffle the cards before any other action. From here on, some people take the cards and spread them out onto the table, and then they will remove 3 cards. Other people may just take those cards directly off the top, and others will go through and filter out 3 cards. I always say to people that their way is the right way on how they work and bring that element into play. So here we are. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to filter through. I'm going to take one off the top and then I'm just going to go so far into the cards, and then I'm going to take another one, and then I'm actually going to take another card there. So we have the 3 cards, no idea what they are and what they're about. I'm not necessarily going to read the cards as the past, the present and the future, but they can be read in that way. Now the first card represents the card of mystery. And the card of mystery is actually, it's a black card, as you can see. The mystery card is the future card, but it's the card of mystery. We'll go more into that in a minute. So that's the first card. The second card is the card of reflection, and it's an earth card. So we could say that both these cards here are very grounding because it's the blacks and the browns. So grounding energy we'll go more into in a minute. And the third card is actually the card of wish. Now, these cards are kind of, as a colour vibration, and just getting into colour, just in its simplest form, I kind of feel that everyone has an understanding of colour. And that doesn't mean that that it's come from a technical point of view. It's just how it makes you feel, your intuitive side in working with colour. One person's favourite colour can be another one's dislike. So it's very personal, but that's what makes a reading very, very individual. The card deck does come with a book and it comes with this element of understanding, but it is only a guiding element for you to use to create a foundation for you to build your own intuition, thoughts and feelings and psyche upon and work within that way. So let's just go back to the cards a minute. Now for me, when I look at these cards, I kind of see them as basically I see them all as a grounding element, because they are the red is a base chakra. I see it's a foundation color, but then we got the browns as well. So the brown is also very earthy, and I also see the black as an element of a grounding color to come into play. Now, when we look at these cards and work with them, let's just take the first one. It's the card of mystery. The mystery card is actually, it is what it says it is. It carries an element of unknowingness with this image. It is a black card, and black can be associated with an element of uncertainty, an element of fear, the unsureness of. So once it disperses that, the card's not here to magnify those elements. It's here purely to give an understanding to the person having the reading that this has been around, this is something they've had to deal with. But in actual fact, black is very strong. It's like I said, it's a foundation color. Black holds everything. It's all in there. It's just because we cannot see it, it can represent a little bit like fumbling in the dark. We, as human beings, we like to see the horizon in front of us. We like to know and we like to see where we're going. It brings that element of security. When we cannot see that way forwards, all the unsureness, uncertainties and doubt can be magnified. But it's a very, very positive card that comes into play. It can speak of an element of stress or tension, just with the nature of the card. But in actual fact, even though it's a card which speaks an element of the fears, which we want to push to one side, because, you know, if we're fearful, we're not standing in our power and our confidence. But it's a really good card to have. The second card we turn is the card of reflection. Now the first card, the card of mystery, is about the future. And it's a positive card for the future. But when we get into the second card represents reflection. And what it's basically wanting to do or say or promote, which is in the book that comes with the deck, it's about reflecting on one's future and not the past. You know, I am a product of my past, and don't I know it? So it wants me to look forward. It doesn't want me to look backwards. Sometimes some people can be stuck in the past. Some people can find it hard to move forwards. And yet it's such an important thing to do and to work with. And that's what the card represents. So the first card is the mystery card is a future card. Interesting enough, the card of reflection wants one to face forwards, wants one to move forwards and not to dwell on the past. The focus is opening up doors for tomorrow and working in that element. The third card is the card of wish. Now the wish is about my intentions, what I wish for. And you know, it's kind of like it's things I wish, I desire, I would like in my life, opposed to what I do not want in my life. So the wish card is about some people that I meet do not have, they have no wishes, they have no desire for elements of. And it's like a seed of thought. The wish card is like a seed that needs growth to that. And whatever things are. The one thing with myself is that I guess because I have this element of a creative mind, I always have these elements of stepping outside of a box, trying to find what is outside of the walls of my perimeter, my boundaries, my comfort zone. You know, it goes back to the same old thing. When life is blissful, we do not need to create any change. But most people come to me for a reading for two things. Part of it is their spiritual growth, so they may be interested in spiritual guidance regarding spirit guides. But the majority of people that come to me are looking for some form of understanding, direction, assistance, you know, confirmation that they are thinking of making the right decision, elements of, to empower them to find a way forward. So the wish card is about wishes, goals, dreams, aims and desires. The red can be a little bit of a testing colour because it's kind of, it can also be associated with, even though it's a colour of power, it's a colour of love, desire, strength, determination, but it can also be associated with stress and tension. So it brings in those elements of what we're looking for. Because we have three separate cards, the element would be, I'm always looking for a cluster of cards. So what I want to do is I want to turn the next, I'm just going to grab a card off the top of the deck just to see where it takes me. And I want to bring up, I want to keep going until I get, here's an interesting one, white. And that's, you see, when we have the white card, because we've already got the black card. Now the white and blacks represent an element of the yin and the yang. So again, it's associated with balance. So it wants to bring the element of balance into play. It's a very powerful element when we see the black and white energies come up within a card reading. It can also represent clarity. So it wants to bring clarity into a place because, you know, the expression, you know, can't you see it? It's in black and white. You know, it's obvious, it's clear. So it wants to bring that element into play. Black and white is also about decision making. It comes with the element of a yes or a no, striking that element and bringing it into play. But you know, sometimes it's very hard to make a decision. We can be very fearful of making a decision. So black and white is always good to see within the card reading. I just want to keep going until we get another similar colour come into play. I'm getting loads of, we've got a brown come into play. So here's the first cluster, the colour browns. And when we get into this, we have, and brown can represent again the element of foundation. It can represent hard work. I always see it, because my past is of a builder, I always see the brown elements in the earth. So it's very much about grounding, feet on the ground. You know, sometimes we have to have that element in order to deal with the challenges in the situation. So it's very much about confronting, dealing with, but it also speaks about things that have been hard work and bringing that element of hard work into play. Now, hard work doesn't hurt anyone. It's quite an unhealthy thing to do, but too much of anything is not good. Now that's the essence of a 3-card reading, bringing that element into play. Next time we're going to step it up to the 12-card spread. The 12-card spread, for me giving a reading, is approximately 30 minutes, but we'll go more into that. Obviously there's more colours, there's more clusters, there's far more information to work with within those card readings and bringing those elements into play. But that will be the next one. I would really appreciate it if you could like and even subscribe to my YouTube channel. It just kind of makes me aware that I'm actually reaching people. If I don't get any interaction, it kind of, you know, I start to wonder, wow, you know, is this being seen? So I would appreciate that. But until the next time, take care and shine that light. Thank you very much. Bye now.